Chosen one, stop right there. Don't scroll. Because what you're about to hear might be the message that saves you from a mistake you can't undo. You've been thinking about making a move, a decision that feels right to your mind, but heavy in your spirit. And before you take that step, heaven sent this as a warning. God already knows your plans. You've been carrying thoughts you haven't told anyone. The frustration, the exhaustion, the quiet desire to just do it your own way, to stop waiting for signs and finally take control. But before you move, God is saying, don't. Not yet. Not like this. Because what looks like freedom might actually be a detour. What feels like relief could lead you into delay. This message is not to condemn you. It's to correct your direction. Heaven has seen the tears, the prayers, the impatience building inside you. You've said, maybe I'll just go. Maybe I'll just act. Maybe I'll make it happen myself. But chosen one, you are not being ignored. You are being intercepted. God is not withholding. He's protecting. Listen carefully. If he hasn't given peace, it's not time. If he's been silent, it's not punishment. It's prevention. He knows what's waiting at the end of that path. And he's stopping you before you step into something that would break what he's been building in you. This moment, right now, is your divine pause. Heaven is saying, wait, trust me. I see what you can't see. You're not being tested. You're being taught that obedience is the doorway to destiny. And when you surrender your plans, you make space for his. So before it's too late, stop running on impulse. Breathe, listen, because this isn't coincidence. This is a rescue. Heaven just interrupted your scroll to protect your calling. And the next decision you make will decide which path your destiny takes. Chosen one, before every major mistake, heaven sends a whisper. It's that quiet uneasiness in your chest, the thought that says, something doesn't feel right. It's not fear, it's guidance. God always warns his chosen before they wander off course. But too often, the noise of frustration drowns out the voice of conviction. And when that happens, we confuse movement with progress and end up stepping outside the timing of heaven. This message comes to you now because your spirit has been restless. You've been trying to convince yourself that your next move is harmless, that maybe you've waited long enough, that maybe it's time to take things into your own hands. But the uneasiness that keeps returning isn't hesitation. It's heaven saying, don't go that way. God sees the plans forming in your heart, the idea that looks like escape, the opportunity that seems easy, the relationship that feels right but unsettles your peace, the temptation to walk away from something divine just because it's taking too long. He sees it all. And before you take a step, he's sending this warning, not to control you, but to protect you, your chosen one. You are too close to destiny to fall for distraction. The enemy won't attack you with darkness. He'll use direction. He'll show you an easier way, a faster path, a shortcut that looks spiritual but leads to delay. That's why discernment is everything right now. You must pause long enough to feel the difference between desire and direction. Desire says, I want this now. Direction says, wait, it's not ready yet. The warning signs are already around you. The sudden tension when you think about that choice. The dream that replayed in your sleep. The unexpected obstacles that appeared just as you were about to move. None of that is coincidence. It's divine interception. God is making it harder on purpose because He's trying to save you from something your emotions can't see yet. When heaven is quiet, it's rarely because you're being ignored. It's because your next move carries too much weight to be rushed. God is aligning unseen details, rearranging the atmosphere, preparing the people connected to your purpose. And if you move too soon, you'll step into something meant for a future version of you, one that isn't fully built yet. The warning before the wrong move always feels like inattention. It's peace withdrawing. It's grace pulling back. That's your cue to stop. When peace disappears, progress is no longer possible. God doesn't bless rebellion. He redeems repentance. And this is your moment to choose correction over collapse. Chosen one, don't mistake the silence for abandonment. You're not being left behind. You're being held back until alignment catches up. Heaven has already seen the outcome of the move you're considering. That's why this message found you now. God is saying, you don't need to test what I've already told you. It's not too late to pause. It's not too late to turn around. You're not in trouble. You're being trained. The conviction you feel isn't punishment. It's proof that heaven still trusts you to listen. And when you obey the warning, you disarm the trap before it's triggered. Breathe, wait, listen. Don't run toward what gives relief. Wait for what gives peace, because the move that costs your alignment will always cost more than it promises. This is your divine interruption. Heaven saw where your next step would lead and stopped you in time. And that, chosen one, is not control. That's mercy. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every divine journey when your own plans begin to clash with heaven's. You think you're chasing progress, but heaven sees you drifting from purpose. You pray for direction, but deep down, you've already chosen your path. And that's where the quiet battle begins. The conflict between what you want and what God knows is best. You've been telling yourself, I just need to do something. You're tired of waiting. You've carried hope for so long that it now feels like a burden. You've started to wonder if maybe God wants you to figure it out on your own. But listen carefully. God will never bless a plan that competes with His will. He loves you too much to let you succeed in a direction that leads you away from destiny. The truth is, your plans are not wrong because they're evil. They're wrong because they're early. You're trying to plant fruit in a season meant for faith. You want evidence before obedience. But heaven operates backward. First obedience, then evidence. God tests trust before He releases timing. Chosen one, this tension you feel right now is not confusion. It's correction. You keep feeling resistance, not because you're unworthy, but because you're unaligned. Every closed door, every delayed answer, every uneasy feeling, it's heaven trying to pull your heart back before your feet go too far. The friction is divine. It's the sound of your will grinding against His. When your plans compete with God's will, the first thing you lose is peace. You start justifying what used to convict you. You call chaos confirmation. You chase signs instead of sitting in stillness. But deep down, your spirit knows the truth. The blessing you're trying to build without God will eventually collapse. God doesn't want to control you. He wants to complete you. His will is not restriction. It's protection. He knows the people who would drain your energy, the opportunities that would distract your focus, the shortcuts that would sabotage your growth. You see a chance. He sees a chain. That's why he's blocking it. You're not being punished. You're being preserved. Chosen one, remember this. Just because something is available doesn't mean it's appointed. The enemy also opens doors, not to bless you, but to bind you. He offers imitation opportunities that feed your impatience and starve your purpose. That's why discernment is sacred. You must ask, does this bring peace, or does it just bring progress? You cannot mix your plans with His will and expect peace to remain. God requires surrender, not compromise. You can't keep one foot in your strategy and the other in His sovereignty. Heaven moves only when you choose trust over timing. This week, God is calling you to lay down the blueprint, the vision you made without prayer, the decision you keep justifying because it feels easier, the relationship you know is not aligned but feels too familiar to leave. Let it go. Release what's yours in imagination so He can give you what's yours in reality. The beauty of surrender is this. When you give up control, you gain clarity. The moment you stop forcing what isn't meant to be, peace will flood your atmosphere again. God can't reveal the next chapter while you're still writing your own. Chosen one, God's will is not always comfortable, but it is always correct. The road may look narrower, but it leads to freedom. The delay may feel heavy, but it's divine design. He's not competing with your plan. He's completing it His way. So breathe. Stop wrestling with what's already written. Your plan may have potential, but His has promise. And if you have to sacrifice peace to make it happen, it was never His will to begin with. Chosen one, you've been praying for answers, crying out for a sign, a word, a confirmation. But all you've received is silence. Days go by, and heaven feels quiet. You've asked yourself, did I do something wrong? Did I lose favor? But hear this clearly. God's silence is not rejection. It's protection. When God goes quiet, it's not because He's gone. It's because He's guarding. He's withholding details until your spirit can handle direction. He's keeping you still while unseen battles are being fought on your behalf. The silence that frustrates you is the very thing preserving your future. You think nothing's happening, but in truth, everything is. You see, chosen one, divine silence is not absence, it's atmosphere. It's the sacred space where heaven rearranges what you cannot see. If God were to speak too soon, you'd run ahead. If He showed you everything, you'd try to fix it yourself. Silence forces surrender. It strips you of the illusion of control until faith becomes your only language. This is why you've felt disconnected, why prayer feels heavy, why you've questioned your worth. You're not disconnected. You're being disarmed. God is taking away the distractions that keep you from hearing His whisper. The voice you miss hasn't left. It's simply speaking through stillness. Every chosen one walks through a silent season before divine expansion. The silence teaches what the sound cannot. It strengthens the senses that don't rely on sight. When you can trust God without hearing Him, that's when you've learned the language of faith. Look back at your life. Remember how many times silence came before breakthrough? Before you were promoted, there was quiet. Before the answer arrived, there was pause. Before revelation, there was stillness. Heaven's pattern never changes. The moments you thought were void were actually pregnant with purpose. Chosen one, silence doesn't mean you've lost direction. It means heaven is rerouting your path. God isn't ignoring your prayers. He's protecting you from premature movement. You think you're ready, but he knows what's waiting beyond the door. So he closes it until what's ahead can no longer hurt what he's healing in situ. There's a reason he's not giving you clarity right now. If he did, you'd settle for understanding instead of transformation. You'd cling to answers instead of intimacy. But he's after something deeper, trust that transcends instruction. The kind of faith that moves even when there's no sign to follow. So what do you do in the silence? You listen differently. Pay attention to the subtleties, the still peace in your chest, the warmth that comes during worship, the scripture that repeats itself in your mind. God may not be speaking audibly, but he's still communicating intimately. Silence also exposes what's inside you. It reveals whether your faith was built on feelings or foundation. Anyone can trust God when he's talking. Only the chosen can trust him when he's still. And that's why this silence is sacred. It's refining you for revelation. Chosen one, don't curse this quiet season. Don't rush to fill it with noise. Stay in the stillness until it speaks. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the silence you feared was the shield that saved you. Heaven's quiet isn't a punishment. It's proof that your destiny is delicate. And when it's ready, the silence will break. You'll hear his voice again, but this time you'll understand it deeper. Because silence doesn't mean he left. It means he's near, closer than your breath, working while you wait. Chosen one, when you try to force what isn't meant for you, you don't just lose peace, you lose protection. God designed every blessing to arrive in its own season, and when you try to make it happen on your own, you end up carrying what heaven never built for you to hold. You can't rush divine timing without creating human chaos. You've been there before, pushing something that kept resisting, a relationship that wouldn't flow, an opportunity that kept collapsing, a plan that demanded constant effort but never felt right. You told yourself, if I just try harder, maybe it will work. But the truth is, chosen one, when something is meant for you, it doesn't need to be forced. It fits. It moves with grace. It carries peace, not pressure. The danger of forcing is that it blinds you. It makes you confuse persistence with purpose. You start calling struggle faith when it's actually resistance. You start asking God to bless what he's already warned you to release. And every time you ignore the tension, the weight grows heavier. You begin to wonder why your spirit feels drained. It's because you're fighting divine order. God never asked you to build blessings through burnout. He said, be still and know. His presence is revealed in peace, not panic. When he's in it, there's flow. When he's not, there's friction. The energy doesn't lie. Your spirit always knows when grace has lifted. Chosen one, forcing something that isn't meant for you is like trying to keep a door open that heaven already locked. You might keep it cracked with effort, but you'll lose your strength holding it there. Meanwhile, new doors wait. Doors that would open easily if your hands were free. That's the cost of control. The more you force, the less you receive. You have to understand, not everything that feels good is God. Not every connection that feels strong is divine. The enemy specializes in giving you almost right. Situations that look like blessings but carry hidden expiration dates. And if you rush, you'll settle for imitation favor. You'll mistake noise for confirmation. But divine alignment doesn't demand, it invites. Heaven will never compete for your attention. It will simply withdraw its peace when you begin to move outside of purpose. That's your first warning. When you can no longer feel God in it, it's time to let it go. Staying in something just because it once felt right is how chosen ones delay their destiny. God's mercy is what keeps closing the doors you keep trying to reopen. He knows that what feels good now could destroy you later. The no you received wasn't punishment. It was protection from pain you couldn't yet see. He's saving you from outcomes that your emotions would have walked straight into. And the more you try to force it, the further you drift from flow. You'll notice how confusion increases. Sleep becomes restless. Small frustrations multiply. That's heaven's way of saying, stop fighting me. Chosen one, forcing what isn't meant for you may give short-term satisfaction, but it always brings long-term sorrow. The peace you trade for progress will cost you more than delay ever could. But if you choose surrender, if you let go of what keeps slipping, you'll feel weight leave your body. The air will clear. Opportunities will begin to flow again. The same energy that once resisted you will now align with you. Because heaven always responds to release. Let this truth settle deeply. What's meant for you will not require manipulation. It won't demand you to beg, to chase, to fight endlessly. It will recognize you by peace, not pressure. So stop forcing closed doors to open. The right ones are already unlocking themselves. And when they do, you'll realize that every no was leading you toward the yes that could never break you. How to recognize a divine redirection. Chosen one, when God changes your direction, He rarely announces it. He simply begins to shift what you can no longer ignore. The plans that once worked start falling apart. The people you once leaned on drift away. The peace you once felt in a place begins to fade. You think something's wrong, but what's really happening is redirection. Heaven is moving you, not to punish you, but to protect purpose. Divine redirection often feels like disruption. It's the closing of one path so another can open. The invisible hand of God rearranging your steps before your logic can catch up. You see loss, but heaven sees landing. You feel rejection, but heaven calls it release. Every shift that confuses your emotions is clear communication to your spirit. This way is no longer yours. Chosen one, you've been sensing it. That strange detachment, that sudden distance from things that used to hold your heart. You keep trying to reignite what no longer burns, to revive what heaven already buried. That's why your spirit feels tired. You're fighting divine movement. You're trying to stay where grace has already gone. When God redirects you, He doesn't send explanation. He sends evidence. The peace you once felt disappears. The opportunities that used to chase you now avoid you. The people who were once loud in your life go silent. Don't take it personally. Redirection always begins with removal. God clears the noise before revealing the new. And here's the truth. Divine redirection doesn't always come through rejection. Sometimes it arrives through restlessness. When heaven is calling you higher, comfort becomes heavy. You start to outgrow the conversations, the environments, the versions of yourself that kept you small. That discomfort is not depression. It's transformation. Chosen one, every time God changes your path, It's because your purpose has outgrown your present. You've learned what you were meant to learn. You've poured what you were meant to pour. And now, heaven is calling you into the next classroom, one where obedience matters more than understanding. The challenge is this: divine redirection rarely makes sense in the moment. You'll want to go back, to fix, to prove, to finish. But every attempt to return to what's closed will only lead to more confusion. When grace lifts, fruit dies. No matter how hard you try to water it, the soil will not respond, because that ground is no longer yours. Here's how to recognize when it's God moving you. The peace leaves before the people do. What once flowed starts to feel forced. Conversations that once inspired now drain you. Doors close no matter how much effort you apply. And deep inside, your spirit whispers, something new is coming. That whisper is heaven's direction. Don't ignore it this time. You don't need a sign louder than the stillness that already speaks. You don't need to wait for everything to fall apart to move. Peace has already given you permission. Redirection is not rejection. It's revelation. It's God revealing that your story has more pages than you thought. It's Him saying, you've completed this chapter, now let me turn the page. And when you allow Him to do that, you'll see how every ending was only an entrance in disguise. Chosen one, don't cling to what's closing. Let it finish its purpose. Every divine disconnection is making room for what fits your future. The path may curve sharply, but it's still leading upward. So when things start shifting suddenly this week, when what you thought was stable begins to shake, don't panic. Smile. You're being redirected, not rejected. And when the new door finally opens, you'll realize that God never took something from you. He moved something for you. Chosen one, there comes a time when God will bring you face to face with your own will and ask you to lay it down. You can fight, resist, rationalize, and delay. But in the end, every chosen one must return to the same sacred place: surrender. Because destiny doesn't begin when you make a plan. It begins when you release control. You've tried doing it your way. You've forced doors, chased timelines, and prayed for peace in places God already left. But now you're realizing the further you go without alignment, the heavier everything feels. The exhaustion isn't physical, it's spiritual. You've been carrying what only surrender can release. God is not angry with you. He's not disappointed. He's simply waiting for your yes to become real again. The kind of yes that doesn't need proof. The kind of surrender that doesn't ask, how long, but says, however you will. That's what this season has been about. Breaking your attachment to outcome so heaven can finally flow through obedience. Surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's saying, I'd rather have peace with less than pressure with more. When you return to surrender, you stop living from fear of loss and start living from faith in guidance. You realize that control was never safety, it was sabotage. Because the moment you let go, heaven begins to move in ways your effort never could. Chosen one, there's a peace that only exists on the other side of giving up your plan. You'll feel it the moment you finally say, God, I'm done fighting you. Tears may fall, but there'll be tears of release, not regret. Because surrender always feels like breaking before it feels like building. It empties you so that grace can fill the space. You've been taught to fight for what you love. But sometimes, the most powerful move is to stop fighting, to let what's not aligned fall away, to trust that what's meant will remain without your struggle. The path of surrender is narrow, but it leads to rest. And rest is where revelation lives. Every chosen one has a moment like this, when the weight of striving becomes too heavy to carry. That's not failure, it's invitation. Heaven is saying, "You've done enough. Let me do the rest." You are not losing control, you are returning it to the one who never lost it. Look around your life right now. What keeps demanding energy but never gives peace? That's the area calling for surrender. The more you release, the lighter you'll feel, and as you loosen your grip, you'll notice something miraculous. The things meant for you don't fall. They settle. They stay because they're sustained by grace, not by grasping. Chosen one, surrender doesn't end your story. It reopens it. It brings back clarity where confusion lived. It restores joy where fear had taken root. It resets your pace to match heaven's rhythm. Because once you stop forcing your path, God can finally reveal His. The path of surrender is not about losing direction. It's about remembering who's leading. You don't have to understand every twist and turn. You just have to trust that every step you're taking in obedience is bringing you closer to something sacred. This week, don't rush to fix, to prove, to plan. Just breathe. Whisper, "I release it." Say it until your heart believes it, because surrender isn't something you do once. It's something you live in daily. Chosen one, you're not behind. You're being refined. God is not asking you to perform. He's asking you to trust. And when you finally let go, you'll realize what you thought was the end of control was really the beginning of peace. Chosen one, after the storm, after the silence, after the surrender, something begins to return that no human effort could ever reproduce: peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but the holy stillness that comes from knowing heaven is back in rhythm with your heart. That's how you know you're aligned again, not when everything looks perfect, but when your spirit finally feels quiet. Peace is heaven's signature. It's the proof that the war inside has ended. It doesn't always come with clarity, but it always comes with calm. You stop needing to understand what's next because your spirit already knows it's safe. That's divine alignment. When anxiety loses its authority and trust becomes your new normal, you may not notice the exact moment it happens. It begins subtly. A night where your mind finally rests. A morning where your first thought isn't worry. You feel lighter, walking into the same places that used to drain you. Conversations don't sting the way they used to. The chaos around you still exists, but somehow it no longer enters you. That's what peace does. It doesn't remove the storm. It changes the atmosphere within you until the storm can't control it anymore. Chosen one, this peace is not random. It's the fruit of obedience. It's what grows when you stop fighting God and start flowing with Him again. Heaven doesn't reward striving, it rewards surrender. The moment you stop trying to fix everything and simply say, "I trust you," alignment begins to rebuild itself quietly. You won't feel fireworks. You'll feel rest. Peace doesn't always mean the battle is over. Sometimes it means you've learned how to stand without breaking. That's growth. That's maturity. That's the mark of someone who has walked through divine refinement and come out anchored. You've stopped chasing validation, stopped replaying conversations, stopped questioning if you're enough. Because peace whispers what fear never could, you already are. When God restores your alignment, everything that once felt hard begins to flow again. Ideas return. Joy returns. Even your body begins to respond. Your breathing deepens, your energy stabilizes, your sleep feels sacred. That's because peace isn't just emotional, it's spiritual electricity. It recalibrates your frequency until everything about you vibrates with heaven's order again. Don't underestimate what's happening to you right now. This calm is not weakness. It's strength disguised as stillness. The world teaches you to hustle, but heaven teaches you to hold, to stay grounded in grace when everything else is shifting. This is the balance of divine alignment. Stillness without stagnation, peace without passivity. Chosen one, peace doesn't just visit, it takes residence. Once you learn to protect it, nothing external can steal it. People can misunderstand you, circumstances can change, but your atmosphere remains untouched. That's when you know you've grown, when you can face the same chaos that once broke you and feel no reaction inside. That's alignment, that's dominion, and this is your confirmation. When you're back in alignment, what's meant for you begins to chase you. You no longer have to beg for favor. It recognizes your frequency. The same doors that resisted you now open easily. Divine timing meets divine posture, and everything begins to flow like it was waiting for this exact vibration. So guard this peace like treasure. Protect it with silence. Nurture it with gratitude. Because this peace is not temporary. It's transformation. It's heaven's way of saying, you've made it through the test. Now, rest in me. Chosen one, don't rush out of this stillness. Let it fill you until you overflow. You've spent enough time fighting. Now it's time to feel what divine alignment truly is. Not movement, not striving, not answers, but peace. Because when peace becomes your proof, you'll never need confirmation again. Chosen one, everything you've walked through, the silence, the surrender, the redirection, the refining, it was never random. It was all preparation for this. You've stepped into the season heaven has been quietly constructing behind the scenes while you thought nothing was happening. Every delay, every closed door, every lonely night was not punishment. It was placement. Heaven wasn't denying you. It was designing you. This is the season of divine establishment, the place where what was spoken over you begins to take form. You've prayed for confirmation, but now God is giving you manifestation. You are about to see with your eyes what your spirit has believed for years. The same storms that once tried to drown you became the very waters that purified you. The same pain that broke you has become the soil that will now bear your fruit. Chosen one, this is the shift you've been sensing in your atmosphere. That sudden peace, that quiet strength, that strange boldness to move forward. It's not coincidence. It's the mark of transition. Heaven is saying, you're ready now. The weight of old seasons has lifted because you're no longer walking. You're ascending. What used to feel heavy will now feel holy. In this new season, you won't have to chase what's meant for you. Alignment will do the work. The doors that once resisted you will now recognize you. People who overlooked you will suddenly see the glow of God on your life. That's what divine preparation does. It hides you until the timing is perfect. And now, heaven is ready to reveal what it's been refining. But don't mistake this new level for ease. With new elevation comes new responsibility. The peace you've gained is not permission to grow complacent. It's the foundation from which you'll move with clarity. God didn't bring you this far just to comfort you. He brought you here to commission you. You're not entering rest to escape. You're entering rest to reign. You will begin to notice divine acceleration. Things that once took months will now take moments. People will appear who carry keys to unlock what's next. Opportunities will align without effort. This is what happens when obedience catches up with timing. Heaven begins to move through you like wind, through open gates. Chosen one, understand this truth. This is not the reward for your perfection, but the harvest of your perseverance. God saw every night you stayed faithful when it made no sense. He saw your tears, your patience, your quiet endurance. That's why this season feels lighter. It's not because life has changed, but because you have. Your energy no longer vibrates with fear. It resonates with faith. The attacks that once terrified you will now amuse you because you finally see them for what they are: distractions. The delays that once broke you will now remind you of God's precision. You've learned the rhythm of heaven. Slow is not denial, quiet is not absence, surrender is not loss. It's all divine choreography. This new chapter will carry one defining theme: overflow. Not just financial or material, but spiritual. Overflow of peace, overflow of wisdom, overflow of presence. You'll wake up each day sensing that something holy surrounds you. Conversations will carry revelation. Even silence will feel sacred. That's how you'll know you've crossed from survival into destiny. Chosen one. Heaven didn't spend years refining you just to let you blend in. You're about to walk in evidence. Everything that was once hidden will now make sense. The people who left, the prayers that took years, the seasons that felt endless. They were all fragments of this divine unveiling. And when you stand in the middle of it, the calm, the clarity, the abundance, remember, you didn't get here by luck. You got here by surrender. So lift your head, take a breath. This is the moment heaven prepared you for. Not to prove you were worthy, but to prove he was faithful. You've waited long enough. Now watch how God moves through you.